Hello everyone, no respawns here. Hope you're having a good week, having a good Friday, or if it happens to be the weekend when this video actually goes live, happy very early Saturday morning. So basically this is my railroad outpost. That was kind of a pun, I guess, because it's a train, it's on a railroad, and it's also a railroad settlement. That amused me for at least 15 seconds, maybe 20, perhaps even a full minute to be fair, and still makes me giggle to myself at how super totes clever I am. So just as a side, I've realised that Evil Viking 13, or the other Dave, has actually done a recent settlement that also has trains in it. This is actually just completely coincidental. Great minds, or just we're both really unoriginal and haven't done anything with the trains yet, I don't know, but basically genuinely didn't realise he'd also done something similar to this. But you should check his out as well. I did have a quick crafty gander, and it looks rather cool. So yes, I am using the, was it the Workshop Anywhere mod by Andrew CX. I did a video on it, a little Wii review of sorts, a few days ago, so definitely check that out. This is a mod I'm going to be using, I mentioned that in your video, but this is a mod I'm going to be using a lot. Now, the reason being is because I haven't built up all the settlements. I've still got, like, loads left. But I've built up all the choice locations. Now, I'm still obviously going to build those settlements up, but there are sometimes when I have an idea like this that requires a certain area for me to build on, if you know what I mean. A great example is if I want to do something kind of big, I need somewhere like Starlight, you know, like a kind of big structure, or I need loads of flat ground. So you're probably going to see me using this mod quite a bit going forward, just because, seriously, not being able to build in certain areas, because I'd already built up Starlight, already done this, done that, it was kind of, quite a huge thing. So this is actually kind of relatively a simple build. Ultimately, this structure is a little bit awkward to work with, because obviously it's quite big, it has all these bits and pieces, you can't do much with it. So as again with a lot of structures where I've done this, I like to just kind of build around it. So I mean, one of my go-to techniques, and it's something I do quite a lot, is use fences or walls to kind of ostensibly reinforce it on the outside. I did that with my battle bus. Some people don't like that because they're like, oh, but it can't move now, and it's like, well, I like to think these are broken vehicles that people have built around for whatever reason, and plus it just looks cool. I saw on Pinterest a couple of, I think it was some wargaming models where people had basically just got a train and just built a tanker on the side, and I think it looks quite cool. I also like to think this is kind of like an extension on the Oberland settlement, which I'm actually going to redo, and I think I'm actually going to turn it into a fully railroad settlement, because there's obviously that place, what's the station called? It's the one that Dave Evil Viking did, and I can't remember what it's called now. The Bedford Station, because there is obviously some railroad backstory there. I thought it would be cool to have Oberland kind of working the same vibe. I'll probably not do it for a while, just for the record, because I've still got loads of like settlements I'd like to finish. But if ever, an idea comes to me, I might start working on it. But yes, this is a cool one. I'm so excited to use this Workshop Anywhere mod, because it just opens up so many possibilities for structures that haven't been able to do. Or I can just kind of do builds where we just effectively reinforce the building. So I'm really excited for this. This is going to be great fun. I do obviously cut out quite a bit because, for example, as you can see, I just went around the entire structure and did the fences in the exact same way. So you don't need to see 30 minutes of me doing that. As I said, this is ultimately quite a simple build in a lot of ways. It's just a case of, see, I took those fences, I left a gap there, and so I can move this in here. And this is actually the structure that's bolted on the side. I like, I don't know, if it's on PC or if maybe the game had a bit more functionality, I like to weirdly RP in my head that maybe they can go inside, or maybe there's a hatch they can open where they could go inside the train. That was the images I'd seen. That was clearly the case with those structures. However, obviously I can't do that on this, so you just have to pretend that we can go inside, or there's a latch. But it looks cool. Yeah, it looks cool, and that's ultimately all that matters, because I'm an incredibly shallow person who only cares about aesthetics, but I likes it. I likes it. And you probably gathered already, I have kind of fallen in love with this metal structure, particularly this. It's a retext, it's in USO integrated. Oh, fuck off, David, going to a different fucking menu. USO integrated, retextures, metal, and it's the corrugated one. There it is, this one. I like this colour, because it blends with everything really well. Also, you see that wall, and it's flashing texture. That I don't like. You can solve... I'll show you once in a second. Wait. You see it? See it? The one to the right. You can't stop that, but what I could have done is maybe move to the doorway a bit forward, or, which is what I end up doing, you can just, with any wall that does that, it's where it connects on a corner. So as you can see, it's where it's like the walls connecting like this right here are fine, but when they connect on a corner, so it's like kind of two pieces meeting at an angle like that, at 90 degrees, it just for that structure it does. I think it may be just the metal one. So what I tend to do is have one of the walls I manually move in. So I do what I'm doing now with the pillar. So I select tool. I hate this pillar connecting. You shouldn't use this pillar, but it's the tallest one. And then I manually moved it in, and it allows you to kind of position it so it doesn't actually do that flashy, stupid texture thing. Look at it, it's so fucking annoying. Or you can just cover it up. That's what I did in Hangman's Alley. Or you can do that, I guess. You can. Or you can use my pillar. Do whatever you like, really. I do end up putting a random piece of metal wall on there, but it doesn't look very good. What do I do right now? What do you do right now, David? What are you doing? Oh, putting the doorway on, yeah. Also, as we all know, that I love my reverse junk wall doorway. Ooh, looks good. It looks good. While I was building this, by the way, most of this is kind of ad hoc me making up as I go, because I wanted to do something this train for ages, and I didn't know what to do, so I just kind of sort of... I had like an image of, let's put a structure poking out the side. Voila. But then after that, I was like, well, let's see what works. So naturally, that means that I've obviously cut loads of the footage out. Oh, just for the record, the tour is a little bit longer, because when I was doing the decorations, I did decide to add a thing to the front, and I want to show you. So I will, when we get to the tour, point it out. It looks very, very cool. My one thing with this structure, and I realised I was doing it, was whenever I like my reverse junk walls, right? They're very good at looking like they're supports, but it's very easy to overdo them. And you can see, as if I left it right now, I've overdone the reverse junk fences quite a bit, I think. It's just kind of like, it's formulaic, you know, it's by the numbers. Whereas what I end up doing is I end up reinforcing the front a little bit, as you can see in about, what, 6 minutes? You've got 6 minutes, and then you can see it, yeah? This is also one of the few instances where I actually liked the scaffolding. I usually don't like the scaffolding. It looks crap. But in this instance, it looked pretty good. Good work, scaffolding. Good work. You didn't look bad. Normally, it doesn't look very good, to be fair. It just never fits anywhere. It just never bloody... It fits in the game. If you look at scaffolding... Sorry, this is a bit of a rant about the scaffolding, because, you know, I've been doing this for 2 years right now, so I overly think about this shit, because I'm a loser. But you already knew that, to be fair. But the scaffolding is actually only featured in the game on the edges of, like, actual pre-war buildings. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at it, it's not well, yeah, pre-war, because some of them are old, but, like, that's the only time it ever features. So that's the only time I feel it actually looks right, because it's, like, blatantly scaffolding on a pre-war building. So when it's integrated in structures like this, it just looks out of place. Do you get what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know why I said, do you know what I mean, like that. Do you know what I mean? It just looks a bit bollocks. I don't know why. But yeah, scaffolding doesn't fit. Because why would you have scaffolding, right? I mean, okay, you could, actually, hypothetically, if you were living in a post-apocalyptic world, and there was an industrial estate near you. We call them industrial estates in the UK, which is basically the industry area of your city, and there were loads of scaffolding. I guess you could use them, but still. They just look out of place. God damn it. Anyway, so this is me starting to reinforce the front. This mod is Aslam's Junk Walls mod. It is a very cool mod that you should already have, just because it has cool shit like this, basically, and you should make good use of it, because I likes it. I want Aslam to make more mods, actually, Aslam. Could you do that, mate? Cheers, cheers. I'll just wait, yeah, shall I? I'll just sit here until you do, because I really like these mods. You've actually made me a little bit lazy, mate, I'll be honest. But I can just do things like this, and you'll see in a minute, I do more stuff. It just looks so good. God, I love this mod so much. I want more junk fences, because the thing is, they're so useful to kind of like add in, because they just have so much utility to them. Watch this. Watch what I do. Be amazed. Not at me, at Aslam, but also be amazed at me for a bit. Oh, wait, I'm going to spend ages positioning this. Sorry about that. Are we going to be amazed now? Oh, a little bit of menu lag there. All right, okay, let's be amazed. So see these ramshackle walls? Oh, prepare yourselves, because it looks really good. And then during I do the decoration phase, which I never show you because it takes too long, I put a guard post, spoiler, and a little bit of a railing thing on the side, and it looks really, really good, like a giant battering ram. But as I've mentioned, these trains and vehicles that I make like this don't actually even move. They're just purely aesthetic because I'm shallow. So it looks nice though, and that's the only thing that matters. People sometimes ask me, do your settlements function very well? I'm like, yeah, sometimes. I don't care, I've disabled settlement attacks right now. I'm all about that aesthetics, all about the looks, honestly. If you wanted depth and substance and functionality, you should have gone to someone else, yeah. But they look pretty though, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters. And I won't hear any other. Anyway. So this is nearly finished. No, it's not. Yes, it is. The tour's very long. I'm glancing to the right here because I've got 2 monitors. I'm going to ruin the magic for you. And I'm glancing over to see how long the video is left. And actually, that tour is quite long compared. Normally, they're about a minute. This one's about 2 minutes. Hope you can keep interest for a 2-minute tour, yeah? I wouldn't, to be fair. I'd switch off. Now, right, okay, these are awesome. So, is it in this tab? Yes, okay, so basically in the USO Integrated Structures, Fences, Walls, MISC tab, there are these high X railings. Now, firstly, in the tour, I switched them around. I just thought they looked good. Facing outwards, they don't. But they would have also clipped through each other had they were facing inward. However, I do a thing, which you will see. These are very nice. There are a couple of, the railings, actually, just generally. There's some quite nice combo of railings that I use in this, which I'm quite pleased by. With, these metal structures, sometimes I struggle to find a decent look for the railings, if you know what I mean. And, because those are the wood ones, or there's a limited numbers. But in the USO, they're actually a nice combo. So in my tour, I will highlight it, because they look really, really nice. I think you'll quite like them. So our building's nearly finished now. It's just going to pop this. I'll show you that. I used a rug to get these in, as you can see. And I do end up slipping them around the tour, but you will see in a second. So there we go. Voila! Yay! Happy. So here's the tour. I go very, very slowly. So firstly, there's my big battering ram at the front. I've got 2 railroad guards. Those are the ones from the USO tab. So when they shoot stuff, they end up wandering off. I have to replace them. But they look nice. As I said, shallow. So see, I've got the guard post. And that metal bit there, just above the bespoke wall from Aslam's, is actually in the railings tab, which I will highlight. It's just in the wood railings tab, and if you scroll all the way to the end, Andrew CX has put some retextured ones, which, why have I not used? I don't know, because they're that sexy rust colour I like. It blends in really well, doesn't it? And it kind of feels like it could charge into you, but it doesn't. It just looks badass. So go look at those kind of rusty wire mesh railings. See, I've turned them inwards, and then put the wire mesh ones. It breaks up the texture a little bit, but also looks really, really nice because it means I can have those inward facing railings without then having an inward facing railing on that side that would clip through. It looks really nice. I've got solar panels from the, was it Go Solar Mod, I think it's called, that reviewed a good few months back. That fan is actually used a pillar and actually pushed it all the way through, as you will see when I go inside in a moment. And it looks quite nice because it means they actually have decent ventilation. Ooh, look at that. Ooh. Also, you see that little kitchen setup? You're going to see that a lot because I just really am quite pleased with that little technique. So, I hope you like that kitchen because guess what? Look at it. Ooh, nice. You're going to see that all the fucking time. Anyway, so that is it. I'm going to pop upstairs. I've done this nice little bridge thing and I've got like a rocket launcher. You guys have a fantastic weekend. I'm actually quite excited. I've got some plans, so I'm going to have a fun one. This is my little kind of spotter area where they've got their little magazines, and that lady now turned round and I have to manually select to turn her around because that's how that mod works. Yes, but as always, follow me on Twitter at norespawns. I will have a new video up soon. Also love the turret with the batteries, quite pleased on that. And until I have another video, you guys have a lovely week. Take care.